Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Happy Thursday to you. Happy Thursday. If you're new, this is a fabulous day and a great video to be coming into this community on. And if you're a returning subscriber, you're going to figure out very quickly why I'm so excited about this video. Okay, so y'all know I'm back at work this morning. I'm currently on a 15-minute break, which I'm going to explain to you in a minute because I'm hoping you're going to take the 15-minute challenge. Here's the thing, folks. In my most productive periods in my work life and in my personal life, I had instituted this rule that every hour I set a timer, and at the 45-minute mark, the alarm goes off. And when it goes off, it means I get up and I stretch and I move around physically. It's okay, honey, come on through. Just don't. Hubby's like trying to be very polite because he knows I'm filming, but I told him it's not a project share. It's okay. So I set the alarm for 45 minutes. I get up and I physically move around. And the reason for that is that sorry, I had to sort of tell him not to make noise. He makes noises and he doesn't mean to. Is that during my healthiest period was actually the period when I had lost use of my hands. And that's just because I was doing physio 3 or 4 times a week. I was exercising every morning. I was walking an hour every day. I was doing all the things I had to do to get better. And I was making sure that every hour I got up to stretch so that I didn't get stiff. And you see, when you're grading, that takes 10 hours, folks, 10 hours. Because I like to grade all at one time so I have good comparison between projects and I can really properly assess. But that means 10 hours at a table. And for those of you living with autoimmune or chronic arthritis or back issues, you can imagine what 10 hours seated anywhere can do to you. So by instituting this 15-minute rule, where every hour I get up and I move for 15 minutes, well, I can marry my self-care with my organizational skills. And so many of you identified in the last 48 hours that one of your key objectives for 2020 is organization. And I'm assuming by that you don't just need crafty organization. That's what we talk about here because we have so many disparate supplies that keeping on top of everything we need and making sure it's organized and not just lumped together in a bin is key because it makes making easier, more exciting. It makes it easier for us to access our supplies. Plus, it just means we're looking better. We're taking better care of our supplies too, and ourselves. So I thought I would marry these two things, our need for organization and our need for some self-care in our lives by suggesting a 15-minute challenge. So here's what you do. I'm instituting it for myself every hour, but I'm just asking you to do it once in the day just to see how it radically changes your day, how you feel, and how much you get done. And here's what you do, folks. You set a timer for 15 minutes. So you get up from whatever you were doing, whether it was watching videos, crafting, making supper, whatever it is, you stop. You set a timer for 15 minutes and you see what you can get done in that 15 minutes that will knock things off your to-do list, but they should be things that get you moving. So for instance, you don't want it to be like, oh, send emails, because then you're seated back at your computer desk again. I'm talking about activities that we need to do every day or once a week that get us physically moving. So for instance, yesterday, my first 15-minute challenge, here's what I got done. We unfortunately inherited granite countertops here. Heads up to anyone who's thinking about putting in granite. If you have a messy partner, you do not want granite countertops. You cannot put your coffee mug on the granite. My husband will attest to this. You cannot, in the morning when he makes coffee, because he most of the time is generous enough to get up and make coffee for us both. He'll spill water, coffee grinds. Folks, that is the enemy of granite. It's a porous stone and it all soaks into the stone. And if you don't catch it fast enough, it seeps actually into the stone and you have to pay to come have someone sand it and polish it. So in New York, I opted for much less fancy quartz because it looks nice, but it's not super fancy. And you can put your cup on it wet and you can wipe it away and it won't leave any of those horrible ring stains. And you won't need to have it professionally sealed and sanded. So yesterday during my 15 minutes, what I did was I went and I cleaned all the counters. Then I put a glaze over the granite, like a polish that helps protect against these little issues in the morning. Doesn't completely safeguard it, but it does help protect it. I cleaned the stovetop again, cleaned our coffee maker, loaded the dishwasher, ran it, swept the floors in both the kitchen and the living room, and I did something else. I forget what it is, but I knocked something else off the list. I did all that in 15 minutes. Plus, all that got me moving so that when I went back to making, I had stretched my body up. So it was self-care and organization married into one activity. So I'm hoping what you're going to do is take the 15-minute challenge today and see what you can both accomplish off your organizational list and give yourself a physical break so that you're not just seated all day and getting stiff. And I know lots of people on here are living with autoimmune or fibromyalgia, which is an autoimmune disease, arthritis, osteoarthritis, back issues. This is very healthy. And even if you're supremely healthy, this is going to make sure that you stay that way, right? So anyway, I hope you take the 15-minute challenge. If you do, why not post something sharing with us what you got done? I had forgotten how much you can actually get done in 15 minutes until I reinstituted this yesterday. And you know, folks, I think sometimes we don't start big organizational things because they feel so epic. And we're like, we're never going to get it done. And when that feels like overwhelming. And so we sometimes put off doing it because of that. But in 15 minutes, I've been taking notes and seeing what I'm able to get done. And I'm just shocked. Actually, 15 minutes is a great chunk of time to knock a whole bunch of stuff off your list. Plus, it gets us moving. It gets us moving. All right, folks, I'm going to get back to work because I have a lot to do today. I hope you take the 15-minute challenge. If you do, please make sure to post a video so we can see what you all accomplished and what you learned. All right, folks, have a great day. Bye for now.